Dad's Army once had millions of viewers laughing at the comical misadventures of an aging yet spirited platoon of Home Guard soldiers. But behind the scenes, many familiar faces faced tragedies few could have imagined, from debilitating illnesses and the loss of loved ones to passing away in loneliness. Prepare to uncover the tearful stories hidden behind the smiles on screen. Let's go. James Beck as Private Joe Walker. Stanley James Carroll. Beck was born on February 21, 1929, in Islington, London. In 1968, at the age of 39, he began playing Private Joe Walker in Dad's Army, a quick-witted, charming Cockney spiv whose roguish charisma became one of the show's comedic cornerstones. Beck infused the role with charm and cheek, helping define the humor of the series and ushering in the most successful period of his acting career. Beck's childhood was marked by hardship. His father was frequently unemployed, while his mother earned a living making artificial flowers. Leaving home at 17, he worked a variety of jobs, studied at St. Martin's School of Art, and later enlisted, serving as a physical training instructor in the Army. After leaving the service, a chance encounter on a bus led him to join a small theater troupe, beginning his journey on the stage. Although he quickly made his mark with a range of roles, Beck's career came with an intense workload and financial pressure, leading him to cigarettes and alcohol as a way to cope. His marriage to Kay Beck was a source of stability, but the demands of his career often kept him away from home. He was constantly filming, performing in theater, and working on television projects, even as his health began to decline. Friends recalled noticing his fatigue and the bluish tinge in his legs, yet he insisted on keeping up with his schedule to support his family. In the summer of 1973, during the opening of a charity event, he suddenly fell ill. Just hours later, he was admitted to hospital with acute pancreatitis, which led to heart and kidney failure. James Beck died on August 6, 1973, at the age of 44, leaving behind his wife and young daughter. His sudden death forced Dad's Army's writers to remove Walker from the script, a shock to both colleagues and fans. At the time of his passing, his net worth was estimated at around £1 million, largely from his role in Dad's Army and other television contracts. Arthur Lowe as Captain George Menwearing. Arthur Lowe was born on September 22, 1915, in Hayfield, Derbyshire, England. In 1968, at the age of 53, he took on the role of Captain George Menwearing in Dad's Army, the pompous yet loyal and decisive Home Guard leader. Lowe brought to life a character who was both admirable and comical, becoming an iconic figure synonymous with the classic British sitcom. Behind the fame, Lowe struggled with serious health issues and personal pressures. He suffered from narcolepsy, a condition that caused him to fall asleep suddenly, sometimes even mid-line on stage. Moments that could be unintentionally funny, but were also dangerous. To counter his physical limitations, he pushed himself to work at an intense pace, which only hastened his physical decline. His wife, actress Joan Cooper, supported him during his most exhausting and overwhelming moments, but their relationship also carried its own strains. Joan often wished to appear alongside him in all his projects, leading Lowe to turn down significant roles if there was no part for her, a well-meaning decision that inadvertently slowed both their careers. This conflict between devotion to his family and his professional ambitions became an emotional burden that stayed with him through his later years. Even after suffering a mild stroke in 1979, Lowe maintained a relentless work schedule, taking part in plays, television, and commercials. His sense of duty and his desire to uphold his public image made him ignore his doctor's warnings. On April 14, 1982, while preparing to perform Home at 7 with his wife at the Alexander Theatre in Birmingham, he collapsed in the dressing room from a major stroke. Arthur Lowe died in the early hours of the next day, April 15, 1982, at the age of 66. His net worth at the time was estimated at around £3 million, much of it from television, theater, and advertising work. John Le Mesurier as Sergeant Arthur Wilson. John Le Mesurier was born on April 5, 1912, in Bedford, England. In 1968, at the age of 56, he took on the role of Sergeant Arthur Wilson in Dad's Army, the courteous, calm second-in-command who always kept the peace amid the platoon's disagreements. With his gentle demeanor and subtle acting style, he appeared in all 80 episodes, becoming the embodiment of charm and composure on British television. Yet behind that serene on-screen image was a life marked by turbulence. He was married 3 times, and his second marriage to actress Hattie Jacques left the deepest scar when she openly had an affair with a younger chauffeur and moved him into their home. Le Mesurier chose to endure in silence, maintaining his role as a father and husband in name only, while carrying a pain that was hard to heal. After their divorce in 1965, he fell into depression and turned to alcohol as an escape. His drinking worsened over time, and combined with the pressures of work and personal turmoil, it led to a collapse during a holiday in Tangier that required urgent hospitalization. His third wife, Joan Mallon, brought companionship but also further complications when she became involved in a complex relationship with comedian Tony Hancock. The chaos of his personal life left Le Mesurier emotionally drained. Even after being diagnosed with cirrhosis in 1977 and making attempts to quit drinking, he could never give it up entirely. On November 15, 1983, John Le Mesurier died in hospital in Ramsgate at the age of 71 from a stomach hemorrhage caused by cirrhosis complications. He was cremated and interred at St. George's Church, Ramsgate, beneath a simple headstone reading, "John Le Mesurier, much-loved actor, resting." At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at around £2.5 million, earned mostly from his film and television roles and the cultural legacy he left behind. John Lurie as Private James Fraser. John Lurie was born on March 25, 1897 in Dumfries, Scotland. In 1968, at the age of 71, he took on the role of Private James Fraser in Dad's Army, the pessimistic Scottish soldier with a dark gaze and a trademark mournful tone. With his sharp delivery and distinctive voice, Lurie portrayed Fraser as the platoon's undertaker, a character both funny and haunting, making him one of the most unforgettable figures in the series. Lurie's life was deeply shaped by war and illness. Abandoning a career in architecture, he enlisted and served in World War I, where he was injured in the lungs by poison gas, a wound that left lifelong consequences. After leaving the army, he found his escape in the arts, studying acting at the Central School of Speech and Drama. With his distinctive voice and remarkable skill in poetry recitation, he quickly rose to fame on the Shakespearean stage, celebrated for roles such as Hamlet, Macbeth, and Othello. However, chronic lung disease and a heavy smoking habit from his youth steadily eroded his health, forcing him to work under physical limitations. His personal life also bore the weight of sorrow. His first wife, Florence May Saunders, a fellow actor he met at the Old Vic, died of meningitis only a few years into their marriage, leaving him in profound loneliness. Many years later, he found lasting companionship with Una Veronica Todd Naylor, who stayed by his side for over 4 decades and gave him a daughter. But tragedy struck again when Una died in 1977 after a long illness, plunging Lurie into deep grief. He became more reclusive, rarely appearing in public outside of professional commitments. On June 23, 1980, John Lurie died at Chalfont and Gerrard's Cross Hospital, Buckinghamshire, at the age of 83 from complications of chronic lung disease. He was cremated, and his ashes were scattered over the English Channel in accordance with his wishes. His net worth at the time was estimated at around £1.5 million, built over a career in theater, film, and television spanning nearly 6 decades. Arnold Ridley as Private Charles Godfrey. Arnold Ridley was born on January 7, 1896, in Bath, England. In 1968, at the age of 72, he took on the role of Private Charles Godfrey in Dad's Army, the gentle, timid soldier who was forever politely asking to be excused in the middle of tense moments. Ridley's Godfrey became a warm and comforting presence, a calm counterpoint to the platoon's chaos, offering audiences moments of tenderness alongside the laughs. In his youth, Ridley was an athlete and a trainee teacher before the outbreak of World War I. He volunteered for service, fought in the Battle of the Somme, and suffered severe injuries. His left hand was left almost useless, his body was riddled with shrapnel. He received a bayonet wound to the groin, and a serious head injury left him with lifelong epilepsy and frequent fainting spells. These injuries forced him into early discharge, but also instilled a deep resilience that led him to the theater as a source of emotional refuge. Beyond being a powerful Shakespearean actor, Ridley became a celebrated playwright with The Ghost Train, 1925, a massive success that brought him both fame and substantial earnings. Ridley's personal life included 3 marriages, the last to actress Althea Parker, which lasted nearly 40 years and produced a son. However, tragedy struck when their son died young in an accident, leaving a grief that never fully healed. On March 12, 1984, Arnold Ridley died at a hospital in Northwood at the age of 88, following a fall at Denville Hall, the retirement home for actors. He was cremated at Golders Green Crematorium, and his ashes were buried alongside his parents in Bath Abbey Cemetery. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at around £2 million, largely from play royalties and acting income. Clive Dunn as Lance Corporal Jack Jones. Clive Robert Bertram Dunn was born on January 9, 1920, in London, England. At 48, he became one of the youngest members of the Dad's Army cast, but was given the role of an elderly character, Lance Corporal Jack Jones, in the series, 1968 to 1977. With his silver hair, shuffling walk, and unshakable motto of "Don't Panic," his character became one of the defining icons of the BBC's classic sitcom. Dunn's early life was tied not only to the stage, but also to the harsh realities of war. Having begun his acting career in the mid-1930s, he was forced to put it on hold when World War II broke out, joining the 4th Queen's Own Hussars. In 1941, during the Greek campaign, his unit was overrun, and they were forced to surrender. Dunn spent 4 years as a prisoner of war in Austria, an experience that left deep psychological scars. Returning after the war, he resumed acting, but carried with him a guarded personality and a preference for privacy, even as he portrayed lively and humorous roles on screen. His personal life also saw its share of changes and pressures. In 1951, he married model Patricia Kenyon, but the marriage ended after 7 years. A year later, Dunn married actress Priscilla Pugh Morgan, with whom he had 2 daughters. Outwardly, they appeared to be a harmonious show business family, but his demanding work schedule and the pressures of fame occasionally strained their marriage. Despite this, Priscilla remained by his side for over half a century, the couple weathering health issues and eventually retreating from the spotlight to live quietly in Portugal. On November 6, 2012, Clive Dunn died at his home in Bolikime, Portugal, at the age of 92, from complications following surgery. His net worth, estimated at around £4 million, came not only from his acting career, but also from his unexpected 1971 hit song, Grandad, which topped the UK charts. Ian Lavender as Private Frank Pike. Arthur Ian Lavender was born on February 16, 1946, in Birmingham, England. In 1968, at the age of 22, he was cast as Private Frank Pike in the classic sitcom Dad's Army. The naive young soldier often called a stupid boy, yet one who completely won over audiences. Lavender was the only cast member to appear in all 80 episodes, as well as the 1971 feature film, serving as a valuable bridge between the younger cast and the show's veteran stars. Lavender's youth combined early talent with a smooth rise in the industry. After graduating from the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School on a scholarship from the city of Birmingham, he immediately began performing professionally on stage and soon caught the attention of television producers. The huge success of Dad's Army opened doors to major projects, but it also brought the challenge of escaping Pike's shadow. Lavender admitted that for many years he was typecast as the young soldier, despite branching out into Shakespearean theater, films, and modern television roles. His personal life also saw its share of ups and downs. His first marriage to actress Suzanne Curtis brought him 2 sons but ended in divorce. In 1993, he married Michelle "Mickey" Hardy, who stood by him through his most difficult years. Together, they faced a series of serious health challenges, from a heart attack and a bladder cancer diagnosis in 2004 to a bout of sepsis in 2017 that hospitalized him in Italy while filming a program. In his later years, Lavender gradually stepped back from the spotlight, enjoying a quieter life with his wife in Suffolk. On February 2, 2024, just 2 weeks before his 78th birthday, Ian Lavender passed away at his home in Suffolk. His net worth was estimated at around £3 million, most of it from a career spanning more than half a century, a testament to the talent, resilience, and love for the craft that defined his life. Bill Pertwee as Chief ARP Warden William Hodges. Bill Pertwee was born on July 21, 1926, in Amersham, England. In 1968, at the age of 42, he joined Dad's army as Chief ARP Warden William Hodges, the grumpy, combative air raid warden constantly clashing with Captain Menwearing's Home Guard unit. Hodges' cantankerous yet comical presence became a beloved part of the show's identity, propelling Pertwee to national television fame. Pertwee's early life was marked by instability, with frequent moves after his father's death when he was just 12. His schooling was disrupted, taking him through a variety of institutions, from independent monasteries to technical schools. During World War II, a swimming accident disqualified him from serving in the RAF, but he still joined the Air Training Corps and worked in a factory producing Spitfire gun components. In the years that followed, Pertwee worked in numerous jobs, from accounting at the stock exchange to sales for Burberry, before comedy led him into show business. His marriage to Marion MacLeod in 1955 was a source of stability, but tragedy struck when she died in 2008, leaving a void that could never be filled. After her passing, Pertwee lived quietly in Devon, though he remained active in charity work and served as president of the Dad's Army Appreciation Society. The loneliness of his loss, coupled with a tendency to overwork, caused his health to deteriorate rapidly, particularly with respiratory problems and mobility issues in his later years. On May 27, 2013, Bill Pertwee died at his home in Cornwall at the age of 86, just 3 days after making a frail public appearance at a parade in Thetford, home of the Dad's Army Museum. His net worth was estimated at around £2 million, the result of more than 50 years in the entertainment industry, and a role that became legendary. Frank Williams, as Reverend Timothy Farthing. Frank Williams was born on July 2, 1931, in London, England. In 1969, at the age of 38, he joined the cast of Dad's Army as Reverend Timothy Farthing, a gentle, sometimes clumsy but deeply compassionate vicar who appeared in 40 episodes and left a lasting impression on audiences. Frank's youth was marked by relentless effort to break into the entertainment industry. Born into a strict religious family, he had to find his own way into the arts, starting with local theater before moving into television during its early days. His career was not always smooth. Many early roles were brief and insufficient to raise his profile, forcing him to endure financial pressure and skepticism from both family and colleagues. In his personal life, Frank chose to remain single but maintained a deep friendship spanning decades with Ronald Grange, a colleague from Dad's Army on stage. This bond became a strong emotional support, especially as age and illness gradually took a toll on his health. Frank Williams passed away on June 26, 2022, just days before his 91st birthday, due to complications from illness at a nursing home in London. His departure closed an artistic journey lasting over half a century, leaving an estimated net worth of around £1.5 million, mostly earned through his acting career and stage work. Edward Sinclair as Virger Morris Yateman. Edward Sinclair was born on February 3, 1914 in Oldham, England. In 1969, at the age of 55, he joined Dad's army as Virger Maurice Yateman, the grumpy but sharply sarcastic church verger. This character quickly became an indispensable part of the show, creating humorous clashes with the vicar and members of the Home Guard. Born into an artistic family, Edward's father was stage actor Albert Sinclair and his mother actress Gertrude Beams. He first appeared on stage at 6 months old, but did not become a professional actor until his 40s. His path was far from easy. He spent many years struggling with minor, often non-speaking roles, frequently sidelined from major projects. Persistence eventually helped him find a place, but the pressures of acting and being typecast as a disagreeable character sometimes strained his spirit and left him exhausted. On August 29, 1977, Edward Sinclair died suddenly from a heart attack while on holiday in Cheddar, Somerset at the age of 63. This tragedy occurred just 1 month after filming the final episode of Dad's Army, preventing him from witnessing the 9th season air. His death left a profound void among colleagues and fans alike, especially moving Arthur Lowe to admit, "With Teddy's loss, clearly there will be no more Dad's Army." At the time of his passing, his net worth was estimated at around £800,000, the result of a lifetime dedicated to stage and television. Janet Davies as Mrs. Mavis Pike. Janet Davies was born on September 14, 1927 in Wakefield, England. In 1968, at the age of 41, she joined Dad's army as Mrs. Mavis Pike, the devoted and somewhat overprotective mother of Frank Pike. Her character often created humorous yet warm moments, especially within the complex relationship with Sergeant Wilson and the irritation of Captain Menwearing. Before rising to fame, Janet experienced a precarious period balancing her passion for acting with working as a secretary for various arts companies to make ends meet. Her opportunity came when she became a client of Anne Callender, wife of Dad's Army producer David Croft, and was quickly invited to audition. However, her career path was not always smooth. She was controversially dropped by Columbia Pictures from the role of Mrs. Pike in the 1971 film adaptation, a decision that left many colleagues and fans disappointed. Her marriage to actor Ian Gardner initially provided support, but gradually became strained due to demanding work schedules and financial pressure. Lingering conflicts, along with Janet's smoking habit, led to a rapid decline in her health. When her breast cancer recurred and spread to her lungs, she spent her final months in a hospice, receiving devoted care from friends and colleagues, yet she maintained a gentle and graceful demeanor until the end. Janet Davies passed away on September 22, 1986, at the age of 59, closing the chapter on a beloved actress's journey in British television. Her net worth at death was estimated at around £1 million, the result of nearly 2 decades of dedication to the arts, mostly accrued quietly, away from the spotlight. Colin Bean as Private Sponge. Colin Bean was born on April 15, 1926, in Wigan, England. In 1968, at the age of 42, he joined Dad's army as Private Sponge, a Home Guard platoon member who spoke little but left an impression with his natural humor. Across 27 episodes, Bean's presence evolved from a background figure to a familiar face cherished by fans of the series. Behind the jovial on-screen image was a resilient Colin Bean who overcame many challenges. After serving in the British Army post-World War II, he returned to his passion for theater but faced obstacles ranging from financial hardship to career pressures. A demanding performance schedule, late working hours, and ongoing minor roles repeatedly led him into states of fatigue and stress. Arthritis plagued his final years, forcing him to retire from the stage and focus on radio work and writing his memoir, Who Do You Think You Are Kidding?, which revealed many hidden struggles from a life devoted to art, but always behind the spotlight. Colin Bean passed away on June 20, 2009, at Wigan Infirmary, aged 83, following a stroke and age-related complications. He left an estimated net worth of around £700,000, the fruit of more than half a century's dedication to theater, television, and radio. Pamela Kundle as Mrs. Mildred Fox. Pamela Kundle was born on January 15, 1920, in Croydon, England. She joined Dad's army in 1972 at the age of 52, playing Mrs. Mildred Fox, a charming and witty woman who later becomes Lance Corporal Jones's wife in the final episode. Although she appeared in only 14 episodes, Pamela left a deep impression, making her character a beloved piece of the classic British comedy. Behind the laughter on screen was a life marked by many lows. Coming from an artistic family, Pamela was drawn early to theater and television, working with comedy legends like Benny Hill and Frankie Howard. Yet beyond the spotlight lay long, lonely nights, extended tours away from home, and the pressure to sustain a career past age 50, when roles for older women became scarce. Her resilience and sense of humor helped her overcome times when she might have had to give up acting altogether. In 1981, Pamela found happiness with actor Bill Fraser. However, that joy lasted only 6 years when Bill died of lung disease in 1987, leaving an irreplaceable void. After this loss, Pamela chose to live independently, dedicating herself to amateur theater and directing at the Harlequins Theater Club, where she passed on her experience to younger generations, though deep down, she always missed her departed partner. Pamela Kundle passed away on February 14, 2015, at the age of 95, closing a nearly 60-year artistic journey. She left an estimated net worth of around $1.2 million, the result of persistence, grace, and a lifelong love of the arts. Harold Bennett as Mr. Buitt. Harold Bennett was born on November 17, 1898, in Hastings, England. He joined Dad's army in 1970 at the age of 72, playing Mr. Buitt, an eccentric, grumbling old man with a charming humor, appearing in 5 episodes. Though his screen time was limited, his subtle acting left a mark, perfectly portraying a supporting character who could still make audiences laugh. Before becoming known on screen, Bennett lived a life full of ups and downs. He left school at 12 and traveled across America as a circus clown, later becoming an English teacher, a mail carrier during World War I, and a technical draftsman for an electricity company. After retiring, he returned to acting, bringing remarkable stamina and determination. Despite being in his 70s, he worked tirelessly despite arthritis and respiratory problems, often filming while his health was declining. Having lost his wife in the 1930s, he lived alone for decades, with loneliness only partially eased by the stage and film sets. Harold Bennett passed away on September 11, 1981, in London at the age of 82, due to a heart attack after a long decline in health related to old age. His net worth was estimated at around £400,000, accumulated from a lifetime of artistic work and various other jobs, a testament to his simple yet resilient life. Now, looking back, the laughter of Dad's army feels even more precious, for behind it lies a life of dedication, sacrifice, and tearful final chapters. Which moments from these actors moved you the most? Share your thoughts with us and join us as we continue to honor these legends.